Hello and welcome back to Pseudo Gameplay TV for the final draft installment of the Competitive Computer Smash League. I'm your host Pseudo, thanks again for tuning in, and we're going to take one brief moment to look at the current standings of this roster. We will return at the end of the video to show the final lineup and character selections from the results of today's draft. But I did just want to take one moment and showcase the alternate skins for those who were added to the draft this past week, those being Falco, Lucas, Wario, and Ganondorf. And you can see them in their corresponding teams and their corresponding alts to those teams for this season. You'll notice there's still one team member left to be added to each one, and those are who we're here to find out today. So thanks for tuning in. We'll have a final look at this roster in just a moment. And without further ado, let's jump into today's matchups. Welcome to the final round of the inaugural draft for the Competitive Computer Smash League. We've got quite a list of combatants lined up for today, so let's jump in, meet the competition, and see who makes their bid for the final spots on our roster. Now, as you see here, we have quite a few wonderful combatants showing up for today's matchups, and the very first of these two combatants, and the first to determine whether or not they'll even advance to have an opportunity to participate in the first season of the Competitive Computer Smash League, will be Simon from Castlevania and Meta Knight from Kirby. So let's jump in and see which of these two has what it takes to move on and compete over the course of the first season.
3, 2, 1, go!
Now, Simon making himself very present right off the bat. He does have the projectile advantage in this matchup, as well as a ranged attack, or an extended melee attack with his whip. Meta Knight using some excellent use of the invincibility on his neutral B, but still finds himself at a 70% stock advantage, and ever climbing, as he is not able to work out Simon's projectiles as well as he'd like to. One final good hit from Simon will do it. The cross is not enough. The up smash that isn't lining up either. Meta Knight gets the parry. And the F smash not enough to do it there. Meta Knight manages to avoid the cross and does end up taking the first stock despite being at a hefty percent disadvantage. Simon missing the opportunity on the up smash there. Meta Knight letting himself be known, but does lose the second stock. Still holds a little bit of a percent advantage. Stock counts are even. Simon providing a good amount of pressure. Hits him with the neutral air. Gets some nice chip damage in. Meta Knight still holding a commanding lead. Catches him with the parry. Simon using some ledge invincibility. Is about to even up the percent count. Simon again making it back to the ledge. Looking to take the stock advantage. Meta Knight uses an air dodge to hopefully avoid some of those pesky projectiles. And the neutral B is going to dispatch of Meta Knight's second stock, though Simon is finding himself at quite a percent deficit himself, and he's going to find himself too far out of the way in order to recover, leaving us at an even match on our final stock. Still unable to connect on the down B and the holy water. lets go of the shield at the wrong moment and catches the tail end of Meta Knight's side B. Simon getting quite a bit of ledge pressure from Meta Knight. Can still pull this off if he manages to play perfectly. Making excellent use of his projectiles. The dash attack. About to even up the percents, and he does. And the up B isn't going to be enough to take the stock, but it is enough to apply some much needed pressure to stay competitive. And that is just what Simon is going to need in order to move on and cement himself a guaranteed position in the CCSL. So let's move on to our next matchup and see who else will join him in that portion of the draft. So with Simon as the first of our combatants to move forward, we move on to the pink-clad corner of this side of the bracket in a matchup between Little Mac and the King of the Koopas, Bowser.
3, 2, 1, go!
Now, quite a few melee combatants in this side of the bracket. The Little Mac is doing quite a nice job at applying ledge pressure to Bowser. Bowser finally getting the first hit in. Little Mac getting the up tilt and the ignite on Bowser at a hefty 112%. Gets caught in a bit of a jab lock. And that's going to give Little Mac his KO punch, which he connects flawlessly and takes a very commanding lead of the first stock. Bowser quick to make his presence known again. The back air not enough to connect, the neutral air not enough either. Little Mac doing a bit of an intimidating dash dance. Rolls behind Bowser, avoids the neutral B fire breath, gets caught in a bit of the nair. Little Mac may be seeking to get a little bit of his stock counter up, and he gets a second KO punch and is up 2 stocks against Bowser. Though we do have to keep in mind that Bowser is a fierce combatant and is not going to let those 2 stocks go easily. The up smash not going to do anything for Little Mac that time. Still finding himself at a very comfortable lead. And again, with some serious ledge pressure against Bowser. Could have finished it all there. Did not have the opportunity to do so. Nice counter from Little Mac. And things are not looking so great for Bowser as Little Mac finishes every single stock with that nasty KO punch. And despite Little Mac not being able to recover when sent off ledge, he has a very commanding stage presence and knocks Bowser out of the competition. So let's move over to the other side of the bracket and see who else will be vying for positions in the first season of the CCSL. Now on to the right-hand side of our bracket, we have a little bit more of a diverse matchup with some projectile characters, King Dedede and Duck Hunt Dog.
3, 2, 1, go!
Dedede being very quick to make himself well known with the Gordo present. Duck Hunt unable to connect on the neutral B can, but quick to come back and make a percent lead. Though Dedede doing a very good job at keeping things even. Still anyone's first stock. Duck Hunt is getting a good read on the Gordo and manages to avoid it that second time with a nifty air dodge. And without that shield, that could have been it for Duck Hunt's first stock. And the can's gonna, but not enough to do his first stock in. DDD misses the F tilt. Duck Hunt getting caught by the Gordo another time. Not able to connect on the down B, and Duck Hunt goes sailing off into the sunset, leaving DDD with the stock lead. Duck Hunt needs to connect on something to stay competitive, and is going to manage to take DDD's first stock, though they do find themselves at quite the percent disadvantage. The Duck Hunt duo making good use of the ledge pressure. Nice tech off the stage there from DDD's recovery. And DDD with the dash attack is going to take a lead, and a rather commanding lead, in the stock. DDD still hasn't showcased his entire kit yet, which is the scary thing in this type of a matchup. Recovers back to the ledge again. Duck Hunt isn't able to reverse the Gordo with the can. Doing their best to contend with King DDD, but DDD doing way better in terms of applying consistent pressure to Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt finds themselves now in a quite sticky situation and will need to severely alter their game's play strategy if they want to stay competitive and move on. Excellent parry of the forward air. DDD fishing for the kill. Duck Hunt gets caught in a little bit of their own neutral B explosion, but does not find it what it takes in order to move forward. So DDD will be the third of our combatants to assure themselves a spot in the first season of the CCSL. And now on to our final matchup to determine who's moving on and who finds themselves on the outside. And in our final matchup to determine who moves on into the CCSL, we find ourselves with the final available Link here to avenge his fallen heroes against the hero of Popstar, Kirby.
3, 2, 1, go!
Now, we've seen some of the ranged characters prevail so far in previous matchups and previous rounds of the draft. And Link looking to put a similar amount of pressure onto Kirby. Though Kirby has quite the ability to recover and make it back to the stage, where Link finds himself at a little bit of a disadvantage in that same regard. Excellent parry from Kirby, evening up the stock percentage. Link not allowing his abilities to be copied by Kirby that easily. Catches Kirby with the bomb. Kirby not able to connect on the side B, though is able to avoid Link's arrow, not the boomerang. And just like that, Kirby is going to copy Link's abilities, but is not quite able to dispatch of him. Both characters finding themselves at over 100%, and Link taking the first stock. Link needs to capitalize on as much damage as he can to keep his dream alive. Link having a difficult time connecting on that neutral B with Kirby as he is quite a small combatant. And Kirby connecting with the forward smash and evening up the stock count. Not at a terrible disadvantage, percentage-wise, but a disadvantage nonetheless. Kirby fishing again to copy Link's abilities and gain some ranged effectiveness. Unable to do so as of yet. But applying just enough pressure to stay competitive stock-wise. Link is able to make it back to the stage. And Kirby lets him go without copying his abilities. Practically at an even percent. Kirby leaves excellent pressure away from that boomerang. But the up smash from Link is going to dispatch of Kirby's second stock. Fishing for some free damage with the down smash, unable to find any. The up tilt getting 1 or 2 hits on Kirby, but Kirby is able to dispatch of Link's second stock, bringing the match to an even stock percentage. Link applying some more excellent and consistent pressure against Kirby in this matchup. Has consistently found himself outperforming Kirby this round. Kirby unable to connect on the dash attack. Link finally managing to land some hits with his neutral B. Kirby fishing for more percent with the neutral air. Connects on the up air. Gets caught in Link's jab, manages to copy his ability to gain some ranged viability. But the forward smash from Link is going to cement him as our fourth and final combatant from this round to move on into this first season of the CCSL. But who gets placed in which division? Well, that's what we're here to determine next in round 2 of this draft.
Semifinals.
So back over to find ourselves viewing the matchups between Simon and Little Mac. A little bit of a one-sided matchup, but in whose favor? Let's join in and find out who comes out on top.
3, 2, 1, go!
Simon immediately making himself well known on this stage. And reminding Little Mac of why he moved on in the first place. Now, even though Simon has the ranged advantage in this fight, Little Mac can turn the matchup around surprisingly quick if he gets a couple of nice hits in. Which he manages to do there, taking advantage of Simon's neutral B. Little Mac does make it back to the stage, a feat that can be quite difficult for him in the right circumstances. And not able to find his way back on this stock, leaving Simon with the stock advantage. Simon finding an excellent opportunity to punish Little Mac's fished up B. Little Mac not finding any opportunity to build up his KO punch meter. Simon using some excellent spacing with the use of his projectiles and holy water. Little Mac needs to be careful receiving too much damage from all of Simon's projectiles. Finding his way back to the stage, whiffs the KO punch, which could have been an excellent equalizer, but manages to take the stock with the down smash. Simon gets an excellent read and throws away a stock against Little Mac, finding himself now at quite a nasty stock disadvantage. Very unfortunate SD from Simon there. Applying some excellent shield pressure, any solid hit could dispatch of Little Mac's stock. The dash attack not going to do it, but the forward air is, equalizing the stock count. Though Simon again finding himself in a very bad situation after unnecessarily throwing away a stock. Getting caught by the neutral B from Simon Belmont. Little Mac building up a little bit more of his KO punch meter. Excellent parry from the diving dash attack. Little Mac whiffing his KO punch again, which could have been the win condition for him, and seems to be the case, as Little Mac is unable to make it back to the ledge. So even with the unfortunate SD from Simon Belmont, he finds himself moving forward to be a final combatant in the final draft round of the CCSL. But who will he be facing? Let's head to the other end of the bracket and find out. And to our finalists on the right-hand side of the bracket, we find King Dedede and the hero of Hyrule, Link. Both combatants excelling in ranged combat, but who will be able to match off against Simon in the final round? Let's pop into the matchup and find out.
3, 2, 1, go!
Link finding his way around the first Gordo and getting some cheeky damage in on King Dedede. And Dedede finding himself with a much seemingly more difficult opponent than the last round. Link has excellent spacing and stage presence as he dispatches of King Dedede very quickly with only 20% damage taken on that first stock. Link finding excellent ways around King Dedede's Gordo as of yet, but does manage to get caught with that one. Applying some shield pressure to King Dedede. Dedede racks up more damage onto Link. Very similar to what we saw Link do to King Dedede on the first stock, and connects with the forward smash to even the stock count. Link using remote bomb quite excellently. Dedede connecting on the up smash. Dedede connecting yet again and applying more pressure to Link. And Dedede has managed to turn the tides of this battle in his favor and now possesses the stock lead. Dedede holding on to Link's remote bomb, but it does detonate and sends him off the stage. Dedede has quite a favorable recovery and does get some damage in on Link with his dash attack. Unable to connect on his up B, however. And Link sends Dedede flying, but not enough to take the stock. some gimped recovery, and with the air dodge, DDD cannot make it back to the stage. Even stocks, DDD with the percent advantage. And Link sending the Gordo back to DDD with the tail end of his up smash. Link has what it takes to take this final stock off of King DDD. But DDD could end Link's final bid with a single well-placed move. And Link finds himself unable to recover sufficiently and is on the outs. So as DDD moves on to the final matchup, we will follow Link to the loser's bracket and find his matchup against Little Mac to see who gets the third and fourth placements before we find our champion of this final round of the draft.
3, 2, 1, go!
And for the loser's bracket, third place consolation round, we have our matchup between Link and Little Mac. Now, Little Mac hasn't shown his ability to showcase very well against the ranged characters, but he's also showed that he is quite the capable combatant. Excellent pressure being applied to Link to keep him off the stage. And Little Mac gets a hefty up smash on Link, but not able to dispatch of him, except for with that forward smash, giving Little Mac the stock advantage. Excellent parry. And Little Mac using the KO punch much better in this matchup to have a full stock advantage on Link. Link just manages to avoid Little Mac's counter, makes its way back to the stage, but Little Mac will dispatch of Link's second stock and seemingly cement himself as our undisputed third place victor. Little Mac does catch Link with another hefty up smash. And Little Mac unable to use his KO punch this time around as Link finds the equalizer in his up smash. Link needing to play practically flawlessly, which we have seen him do today. But taking more damage than what he really should be if he wants to stay competitive and take the third place victor. Little Mac finding himself in an ever more favorable position. Does not have the ability to punish that recovery from Link. Whiffs the up special. Little Mac finding himself again with the KO punch, but loses it before having an opportunity to use it. Link does equalize the stock count, but needs, again, to play it flawlessly in order to come off as the victor. But with the up smash, Little Mac is going to finalize himself as our third place victor, with Link settling for fourth place. And with that match out of the way, let's check into the final and crown our victor.
Final!
Quite an excellent showcase there from our third and fourth place contestants, but now we are back for the main event. Simon from Castlevania, the newcomer to Smash Ultimate, and King DDD.
3,
So the projectile carriers have predominantly had the advantage in today's portion of the bracket. But who has the superior use of those projectiles? Simon finding his way around the Gordo and applying excellent pressure to King DDD, though DDD currently with the percent advantage. DDD sucking the Gordo and blowing it back to Simon, sending him way too far off stage to successfully recover. But Simon does have quite the arsenal to turn the tides of this battle, though DDD seems to not be giving him an ample opportunity to do so. And DDD takes the commanding 2-stock lead, dispatching of Simon's second stock. And this could be a finals 3-stock if Simon is not careful. Simon finally bringing DDD above 100%. DDD able to successfully avoid his own Gordo, does make it back to the stage, but at a hefty percent disadvantage. And Simon sends King DDD flying, but unable to dispatch of his stock. However, DDD cannot recover and does lose the stock, ending the bid for a 3-stock, but still with Simon at quite the stock disadvantage. Practically down a stock and a half. DDD looking to use some of Simon's projectiles against him with his neutral B. Simon will be unable to make it back, leaving King DDD as our victor and our final winner of the draft rounds from the CCSL. And just like that, King DDD is our final victor. With quite an impressive showcase, as he did not utilize the entirety of his kit to get this victory. Now, before we go, let's have a final look at where the draft standings are for each of our leagues before we continue on into the seasonal matchups and season bids for our first season, the inaugural season of the CCSL. So thank you again for tuning in to the inaugural draft for the Competitive Computer Smash League. These are our final standings for all of our competitors. You'll notice that each of our victors find themselves in the top seeded spot in each division. The matches have been set, and we will discuss how those matches are to break down at the beginning of the first round of these matchups, starting in just 2 days' time. So thanks again for tuning in. My name is Pseudo. Leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know which of these matchups you're excited to see in the first season of the CCSL. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and you have a great rest of your day. Bye.